My name is Mary Lou Ferbert. I'm an artist. I came to art as a career in midlife. When I was 44, a large chunk of time opened up in my life, and I ended up going over to the Cleveland Institute of Art to have a painting critiqued, and I ended up going into the office and signing up for a course at the Cleveland Institute of Art, which morphed into 10 years as a part-time student at the Institute, and then I cut the cord and took off on my own to try and make it in the big bad art world. So that was the beginning, and it was midlife, and yet it's been the wonderful treasure in my life. I paint in watercolor. I chose watercolor from day one. I think I did one opaque medium painting in my whole life. And watercolor is very, very satisfying to me. I love the fluidity of the medium. I love being able to layer washes so that you can, and with watercolor, transparent watercolor, you can see through the washes to the earlier paint that has been deposited, so that you can build up wonderful layers of paint that create the image and the feeling and the transparency and the ephemeralness that I like to do in my art. I sometimes work with pigment right out of the tube, and I can create mass without any trouble whatsoever. I do the interiors of steel mills and big, bold, dark shapes, some of which you may see in this show, equally. So that to me it has a far wider range of potential for expressing my concepts than opaque media. That's why I chose watercolor at the beginning. I stayed with it forever. My subject matter has evolved in somewhat of a rational progression. I started out in Cleveland's flats. My husband worked in the flats. My father-in-law was in shipping. And it's a part of the city that is so exciting and so full of dynamism and energy, and it just attracted me. It's a part of the city that most Clevelanders don't really know. They may go down to the east and west bank of the Cuyahoga, but that's, as far as knowing the flats and knowing the content of what happens in the flats, they don't. And so that was a wonderful part of my exposing the flats to a broader audience through my art. I wanted to incorporate the wild urban plants, weeds that are in the flats, and that has become my message, because these incredible plants survive in a very unfriendly environment, biologically sterile. It's just, you can't believe where you can find a little weed popping up that adapts and survives. And so that's what that long series of urban botany paintings was, a depiction of adaptation and survival. And the paintings in this show are all from that period. With Old Stone Church, I was invited by the pastor's wife. And so she asked me if I would do a show, a one-woman show, and I said I would be delighted to do that. My husband and I were members for a long time. I felt it very appropriate to, and I wanted to support the church. And I believe in downtown. I started coming to a downtown church because I love the mix of people and I love the city, I love downtown, and I wanted to support what they're trying to do on the square. People ask me how I choose my subjects, and my answer is, I don't choose my subjects choose me. And it's like an epiphany. When I see something and I go, wow, I've got to paint that. And so that is sort of my measure for where I spend my energies as an artist. I have to be, and then also I follow a theme. That's a painting where I go in the summer to Bethany Beach. It was a plant growing right out of the side of a telephone pole. And so when I see these things, they say, paint me, and so I paint them. They survive and live and are beautiful. And what we have to do is open our eyes and look for beauty in unusual places. And that's what my work is all about.